I was sat in my room reading a book when old Ackley came in to take a look. I bought a red hunting hat and put it on my head. Then Stradlater came in, so Ackley went to bed. He needed a shave, so he went to the can. He had a bristly chin just like my old man.
Chapter 4. I have a nervous habit. I turn the tap on and off. I don't know why I do it. It's like a bad cough. Stradlater's a slob with no personal hygiene. He does it in a hidden way, even I hate people who yawn when you're talking to them. As much as I hate it, I won't cause any mayhem. Stradlater's dating Jane, but I really like her. I find that such a pain. He can't even say her name. He called her Jean when her name is Jane.
Chapter 5. I love the snow. It's innocent and pure. That's one of the only things though. Ali died July 18, 1946. How I love his baseball mitts. I was angry as hell. You probably could tell. My parents sent me to see a shrink. I don't blame them. It was for the best, I think.
Chapter 6. What was I doing when Stradlater came in? The date went well according to him. I was still so worried, but he wouldn't talk of Jane. The goddamn silence was driving me insane. I tried to sock him with all my might. The next thing I knew, it was a full-blown fight.
Chapter 7. I was all set to go. It was late, I'll have you know. Everyone was in bed. Sleep tight, you morons, I said.
Chapter 8. I travel quite often because I like to get away. But when I do, I throw the whole ashtray. I met this woman on the train. I didn't want to sound lame, so I gave her a false name.
Rudolph Schmidt.
It was just another of my silly games.
Chapter 9. The Edmonton Hotel was a mess. I saw a man put on a dress. Maybe he enjoys it, I guess. I think he was a flip. Well, maybe just a bit.
Chapter 10. Phoebe's the prettiest kid I've seen. She had this red hair like Amie. While I was waiting, I wanted to give her a ring. I didn't want my parents to answer, that's the thing. So I went to the lavender room to get me a drink. I saw these girls and gave them a wink. They told me they were going to Radio City. I thought the blonde one was so pretty. I danced with her all night long to some of my favourite songs.
Chapter 11. I got to thinking about old Jane. I just couldn't get her off my brain. The way she kept her kings on the back row. We were close, we never necked though. I've kissed her before, don't get me wrong, but I never used my tongue. I kissed her all over her face but never her lips. She was upset because her dad flipped.
Chapter 12. I got in the cab to Ernest. Boy, it was one of those journeys. The driver was not the best. He was arguing and all the rest. I asked him about the ducks. He gave me one of them funny looks. He said the fish get frozen in ice. I thought that would be rather nice. He didn't answer the question I asked, so I just let it pass. I met one of DB's old friends. She drove me round the bend. She asked me to join her and a Navy guy, but I was going, so I said bye.
Chapter 13. I like to look in the mirror and act tough. I'm a yellow guy really, I'm not even buff. In a fight, thing that scares me the most is the guy's face. I don't like fighting, I think it's a disgrace. On the way to my room, Mommy ordered me a girl. At first I felt sexy and I wanted to hurl. The prostitute came and she was called Sunny. We didn't have sex but she still demanded money. Me and Mommy got in a bit of a fight, but like I was down yellows and one punch made one down.
Chapter 14. Maurice and Sonny came back. He gave me a right old whack. Sonny took the other 5. I really didn't want to be alive.
Chapter 15.
I thought I'd make a date with Sally, after all we were kind of pally. Before I met her I went to a sandwich bar. I met two nuns without a car. I contributed to their collection, where the way I acted wasn't perfection. As they left I had a smoke, I nearly made them choke.
Vroom! Chapter 18. When I left the rink, I was going to give Jane a bell. The thing was, I was lonesome as hell. Then I got to thinking if there was a war, I said I'd volunteer for it, to God I swore.
Chapter 19. I met up with Luce at the Wicker Bar for a drink. He said just like the last time I should go see a shrink. We started talking about sex, but I'm Yellow, the kind of guy that just necks.
Chapter 20. I was sat in the Wicker Bar until around 10 or so, getting drunk as a bastard but trying not to show. I went to the phone box and thought to ring Jane, but I felt so drunk so I rang Sally again. When we hung up, I went and washed my face. I couldn't stand too hot, I was falling round the place. I wanted to see the ducks so I walked over to the park. Then I dropped Phoebe's record, boy it was dark. I missed old Phoebe and wanted to chat, so I thought I would go and see her just to chew the fat.
Chapter 21. I walked all the way home, I wasn't drunk anymore. I took out my key and went in the front door. Phoebe was in DB's room because hers is too small. It took me ages to get there, it was so dark in the hall. I looked through her school books while she was asleep. I wouldn't read it all, just wanted a peep. I got kind of bored so I woke up Phoebe. She gave me a hug, I knew she was pleased to see me. She went in the mood and I'd had enough. But when she wants to be, oh Phoebe's pretty tough.
Chapter 22. There was this boy at Elton Hills named Jane Castle. Some boys there gave him a lot of hassle. They beat him up for something he believed in. Then he killed himself, that was a sin. When he jumped, he had my jumper on. That made his death hit me harder. Mr. Ansolini came over and announced he was gone. He wrapped him up in his coat and took him away. That was a very sad day.
Chapter 23. I was sat with Phoebe and for some reason I don't know why, I sat there and started to cry. Then I gave Phoebe my red hunting hat. I took one last look at it and that was that. It was strange because I felt quite happy inside. The look on her face filled me with pride.
Chapter 24. I went over to Sutton Place to see Mr. A. He asked me to sleep since I had no place to stay. He tried to help me and we talked about life, but I was so damn tired and so was his wife. After more chat, we all went to bed, but I woke up in shock because they were stroking my head. I ran for the door, I didn't want to stay. That man's crazy, I had to get away.
Chapter 25. I slept on a bench in the subway. It wasn't very comfy, but I was okay. I kept on thinking about the fall, but I didn't know who to call. If I ever need to talk to someone for advice, I always talk to Ali, I never think twice. I went to the museum to go and see Phoebe. I took a note to school and told her where to meet me. After the museum we went on the carousel. She went round and round, it was lovely as hell. Went to see Spencer at home. To illness he is prone. Life is a game, boy, he said, whilst we sat on the bed. He read my failed test. It was hardly the best. His hairless legs were on show. At this point I had to go. As I was leaving he yelled good luck. Ha ha, pointless as muck. What a phony phrase. Gets me in such a daze.